welcome to Stretford Paddock. We are here for the team news for Man United against Club Brugge in the Europa League round of... There's still like 300 people left in this, isn't there? I look very orange there, don't I? Look how orange I look. That could maybe be sorted out, maybe. I don't know. We're here, obviously, to look at the team news. It always comes out at a weird time when it's the Europa League, doesn't it? Because they don't really care, so just put it out an hour and a half before the game, an hour and 15. Who's really bothered? But let's get into the team. We've got Romero, Ighalo, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, Williams, Matic, Mata, Pereira, Lingard and Martial. So it looks like another 3/5 at the back, depending on what you think. Whether you want to call it 3 at the back, whether you want to call it 5 at the back. But no Fernandes, no Ighalo, no Wan-Bissaka, no Fred and no Dan James. They're all on the bench alongside Eric Bailly and David De Gea as well. It's a bit of a, what would you call it? Not underwhelming, because I suppose it's not too far off what you would expect, but it's not particularly exciting team, really, is it? If we're being completely honest. Nice to see Williams getting a game in there. Nice to see, I guess, Lindelof return, which is good. But generally speaking, it's kind of just a sort of a team filled with all the players that don't get a game in the first team. Which, again, isn't necessarily the worst thing, because obviously you have to rotate, especially with it being the Europa League. But none of those sort of exciting younger players and exciting new players like Fernandes and like Ighalo, who I think we all would have liked to have seen, just because that's... You want to see new transfers, don't you? But anyway, let me know what you think to the team in the comments. Pretty average midfield. Yeah, a little bit. Lingard starts, for fuck's sake. Well, he's got to play sometime, hasn't he? Surely people are going to get annoyed that he's being paid 100 grand a week and not playing at some point. So I think if he's ever going to play, it's going to be games like this. Bruges to win 3-1. Nice one, pal. Literally called pal. Pretty average midfield. Yeah, I just said that. Ighalo doesn't start. Yeah, I wonder why he doesn't start. Maybe he's going to start against Watford on Sunday. Sorry. Obviously, it's his former team. It would make sense to start him in that game. Yeah, Jamie there saying Ighalo's been saved for Sunday. Why no Ighalo, Ollie, for fuck's sake? He's on the bench. I'm sure we'll see him. Aren't we due to concede soon? 2-1 United, I think. Haven't we had 5 clean sheets in our last 7 games? Something like that. Only conceded in 1 Europa League game this season. So, you know, it's not a bad defensive effort for United in this competition so far. Joe, yourself and Steve need to step up your homework. United can't get top 4 this weekend as Chelsea playing Spurs. Great point. But, you know, close enough, eh? I think United can be within 1 point of top 4, which is a pretty decent position to be in, but let's not talk about that. Who are the subs, Joe? Okay, I'll read that out again. I'll read the whole team out again. We should be getting a team news graphic coming up soon, but until then, there we go. Look, so there's Romero, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw as those back 3. Again, we're seeing Shaw as the left of a 3 centre-back pair in there, which... It seems to be Solskjaer's preferred way of doing the 3 centre-backs over the likes of Phil Jones and in this case Eric Bailly on the left. We talked about that on the preview yesterday, something we thought was a sort of an explanation as to why it does continue to be Luke Shaw there. There is no particularly pacey options who are comfortable with their left foot. Other than Luke Shaw. I know he's not that pacey, but I think he's quicker than Phil Jones. Then we've got Ighalo and Williams as our sort of wing-backs. And then a midfield of Matic, Andreas and Mata. We're going with Lingard and Martial up front, but I won't be surprised if it's almost like a 5-2-2-1 rather than Lingard playing as a striker. I'm sure he'll drop back in. Or maybe he'll play over on the left. I suppose that remains to be seen. But yeah, the midfield, quite a slow midfield, that, isn't it? Pereira, Matic, Mata. I know that Bruges' best player is their attacking midfielder, who we looked at yesterday, and hopefully he doesn't have too much success in there. Again, we've got 3 centre-backs and 2 wing-backs, so hopefully we should be able to stop crosses and win crosses if they do get them in the box. The bench then is De Gea, Eric Bailly, Fred, Fernandes, James, Ighalo and Wan-Bissaka. So it's a very strong bench. The first, I mean, obviously you sacrifice that by playing the likes of Mata, Andreas, Lingard, and I suppose they're the main 3 that wouldn't be first choice except maybe Ighalo. But there are options off the bench, of course. Fernandes, James and Ighalo in attacking positions, and Wan-Bissaka as well. If you need a bit more defensive stability, we saw against Chelsea the improved. I would say the improved attacking elements of Wan-Bissaka's game. I think it's definitely something he's working on. He did really well against. It was Willian, wasn't it? He sort of did twice and then put the ball in for Martial's goal. So hopefully we are seeing a bit more of an attacking threat from Wan-Bissaka. Give me your score predictions then. Let me see what you think. Ole out, great. McTom not up to standard. I'm pretty sure he's not up to fitness rather than standard. RIP team, don't really know what that means. Where's Twanzebe? Don't know, probably at home because he's not fit. It seems Ole doesn't want to win the Europa League, and here's excuses already. Why do you think he doesn't want to win the Europa League? He's playing basically a first-choice back four. Martial's our only fit striker. Matic is a first-choice player. There's only 4 players in that team that don't play every week, other than Romero, who is almost interchangeable with De Gea at this point. I don't think it's a particularly weakened squad, as we just dance around the cameras for no real reason there. Where's Twanzebe? Yeah, like I said, he's injured. Bring in Poch, cool. I don't think Poch will be able to manage for this game. So either way, I think it's probably going to be Solskjaer for this one. 3-0 United. Why don't we have 2 managers? That'd be good. Just do Poch sometimes, and then when people get sick of him, just have Solskjaer there as well. Why? But people are so Ole in, Ole out. How about Poch in and Ole in? There's a stance for you. 3-0 United, 2-1 United, 0-0 to United. You say that, but 0-0 I think is a better result for Bruges than it is for United. I think getting a clean sheet at home in the first leg is the most important part of European football in the knockout stages. So, I mean, obviously Bruges are going to want to get a victory to take to Old Trafford, but I think if they keep a clean sheet in any form, even if that is, like I said, a 0-0, I think Bruges will be happy with that, because if any draw for them at that stage is enough to take it to extra time at least, or just go through an away goal. So I think Bruges would definitely take a 0-0. United really need to score in this one. Dallo will score. Looking at the start 11, it's poor. Yeah, again, it's strange that that's only really 4 players, and again, Romero, but 4 outfield players away from our strongest available team at the moment, and yet it looks as though it's some reserve team, when really it just goes to show the depth of the squad that we have, or lack of depth in the current squad. The fact that, you know, we're sort of 4 changes away from looking like a very slow midfield and an attacking lineup that doesn't have many goals in it. But I guess that's just the position we are in squad-wise. 2-0 to United. Be interesting to see how creative we are without Fernandes. Yeah, that's a good point. Again, he is on the bench, so if we are needing him in the second half, there's a chance he can come on, obviously. United need the away goal. Yeah, couldn't agree more with that. Plays first team, gets slaughtered. Plays second team, gets slaughtered. Mix of the two, still gets slaughtered. Yeah, that's a great point, Peter. I think no matter what he does, he's going to get slaughtered, because some people don't like him, which, fair enough if you don't like him, but that's just how it is. Who's on the bench? I've read that out a couple of times, but I'll read it again. We've got De Gea, Bailly, Fred, Fernandes, James, Ighalo, and Wan-Bissaka. Don't be surprised to see Fernandes, James and Ighalo make appearances if we haven't got a goal by sort of 50, 60 minutes, because I'm sure Solskjaer will be incredibly keen to get that away goal. Very important to do, I think, especially in a European fixture. Is Steve doing the watch-along with us? No, he's not. He's doing his very own watch-along. Somewhere very far away from here. He's away for the weekend, so he isn't here for the watch-along. But we've got people who are just as good as Steve. We've got Kieran and Alex coming along, and you like them. They both look a little bit like Steve, so it'll be like having him here. Don't you worry about that. Ighalo to score the winner, that'd be great. Chance for Dallo to nail down the wing-back spot. Personally, I don't think it is. I think Wan-Bissaka has nailed down the wing-back spot. Unless, you know, if Dallo is world-class, then he might have a chance. But I think I don't think that's a spot this season, at least, that is up for grabs, personally. Unless, as we've discussed before, Wan-Bissaka does move into that right centre-back spot. But again, that then brings us to the point of, who do you play at left centre-back? Or do you have a back three of Shaw, Maguire and Wan-Bissaka? I think that's a bit of a weak lineup, personally. Ole's position isn't at all contested, not before, not after today. I don't think that's true either. I don't think, regardless of whether I want him to stay or not, I don't think he is 100% safe at United by any means. Who's on the watch-along with you tonight? I've got Kieran and Alex joining me on the watch-along. So it'll be very fun, because Kieran likes a drink and, you know, Alex likes a drink, so let's face it. But we're not all going to be drinking, but I might. Dallo is the best fullback at the club. Wan-Bissaka is not a fullback. In what way is Wan-Bissaka not a fullback, would you say? I could see you maybe making the argument about wing-back, but fullback Wan-Bissaka is the best defender, I would say, at the club one-on-one. He's brilliant. He's one of the best defensive fullbacks in the world. So to say he's not a fullback, I think is just wrong, personally. Love to see a hat-trick from Ighalo. Yeah, that'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? Do you think Ole has fallen out with Gardner? I don't know if it's a falling out. People always like to put these personal relationships and all these things, but maybe he just doesn't think he's good enough at the moment, or that he needs more experience. He's only 18, or maybe just turned 19, and maybe just doesn't think he's good enough. I don't know if there's been a falling out as per se. I just think he's not in and around the team. Why no Greenwood, our top scorer in Europa? He's injured. He was feeling ill yesterday. What's your prediction for the tie on aggregate, Joe? I think we'll be desperate to get a goal in this game. I think it'll maybe be 1-1 in this game, and I think we'll probably win 2-0 at home. So I'm going to go 3-1 on aggregate to United. I think that Wan-Bissaka would be a perfect man for a 3 at the back. Right centre-back, don't you think? Definitely something to experiment with, in my opinion. Again, though, then what, do you just put Lindelof on the left? I don't think he's I wouldn't necessarily suited to that role, just because you want someone to be able to bring the ball out on their comfortable foot, which I think is why Shaw plays at left centre-back. And again, I don't really like the idea of having Shaw, Maguire and Wan-Bissaka as our three centre-backs in a game. So I like it in theory, but again, in practice, I don't think we quite have the squad set up to be able to do that at the moment. Jesse, masterclass incoming. Do you know what? Don't be surprised if Lingard plays really well tonight, because these are the sort of opponents he's good against. Counter-attacking against, let's face it, weaker opposition. I know they're not a bad team, no pushover by any means, but you wouldn't expect these to be sort of a top 4 Premier League side. I think if you can bring the ball through the lines and play the likes of Martial and Mata into some space, I think Lingard could look good tonight. Any news re Gomez contract? No news at the moment. I think that he's having multiple different opinions thrown at him from different people in his life, and he's just got to make a decision, to be honest. Also, I think at some point United are probably just going to say, clear off. But I don't think that's, as far as I'm aware, that hasn't happened yet. So, no, the answer is no update. Who would you have preferred or liked to have seen play tonight? I mean, we'd all like to have seen Ighalo and Fernandes play, wouldn't we? You want to see the new transfers playing, but I can see why they aren't playing. I can see what Ollie's doing. And again, they're both on the bench, and they both played... I know Ighalo only played 5 minutes against Chelsea, but Fernandes has played the 90 minutes. I know he didn't play the full game, but he played 90 minutes against Chelsea, so I'm not surprised to see him have a little bit of a rest and maybe come on for the second half. Do you think Matic should have been rested, considering he's our only more defensive CDM? Yeah, I do, but who for? Fred also needs a rest. I know they've had 2 weeks off, but they've both played every game, so if Matic needs a rest, Fred needs a rest, and I think, Fred's played more games this season than Matic, so I think Matic will be all right. Anyway, that's going to be all for us at the moment. Like I said, we're going to be here for a watch-along. It's a 5 to 6 kickoff, as I'm sure you're all aware, but in case you've forgotten, or you think it's 6, or it's 5 to 6, because that's the time that we all like things to start. So we're going to be here from, 15 minutes before that? 20 to 6. Got that to look forward to. So we'll be here from 20 to 6. We're going to be, obviously, our normal chatting, our normal having a bit of a laugh and watching the game. So join us for that with Kieran and Alex. See you in a bit.